in Time is an amazing game, so it's no wonder that it has a big fan base. In fact, the game had a big fan base way before the game even launched. The initial announcement for the game was on May 29th, 2013. It promised to bring back the good old 3D platformer, and since 2013 was Nintendo shifting focus to the Wii U, being the only major video game company still somewhat interested in 3D platformers kind of being irrelevant and not having the budget for a 3D platformer, people got desperate. The goal was only $30,000, but nearly 10 times that amount was reached, $296,360, easily crushing all the stretch goals. There are all sorts of cool rewards depending on how much you donate, and now I really wish I knew about this fundraiser when it came out, because I want this stuff. There was also a mention of possibly putting the game on the Wii U.
You serious?
The Nintendo Switch can barely handle the game. There is no way the Wii U would be able to run the game. The only real reason this was seen as a realistic possibility early on is that the devs expected to barely meet the fundraiser goal and for the game to be quite small. Boy, were they wrong. There are also some cool early screenshots and some early artwork as well, which you can't find pretty much anywhere else. If you want to see all this, the link to the fundraiser is in the description. I will quickly cover some of the early stuff shown in this fundraiser though, since there aren't any major videos about the development of A Hat in Time that I could find. The only thing I could find is a series by the devs about the development of the game, but most of the videos are, at most, 2 minutes long, so probably not a lot could be talked about. Nonetheless, if you're interested, the link to that series is in the description. Anyway, the main things are an early health bar showing that you were originally going to have 7 health and not just 4, an unused Umbrella ground pound attack that was slightly replaced with the Ice Hat, and early logos for Mafia Town and Subcon Forest, which were likely replaced by the artwork you see each time you start an act. The thing I find most interesting about these is that Chapter 1 is called Down with the Mafia, suggesting that there was potential for chapters to be named after what your main objective is instead of the name of the location, before deciding to have the titles of acts do that instead. As for Subcon Forest, it's interesting because it immediately contradicts the idea that I just talked about, having the name of the location, although it's possible that they initially wanted to do both. What interests me most, though, is that Subcon Forest was originally supposed to be Chapter 2, not Chapter 3. This is also backed up in the game by the fact that you have to go to Subcon Forest in order to get the grappling hook badge in order to beat Chapter 2. This fundraiser single-handedly saved the idea of fundraised games, as games like Mighty No. 9 tarnished the image of such games, but A Hat in Time proved it was possible if done right. There were some more teasers throughout the years, but not too many until the game finally came out on October 5th, 2017 for PCs and MacBooks. The game was released exactly 2 months later for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The game would be released on Nintendo Switch for 2 more years, likely due to struggling to get the game running well on the system. Then, it finally did come out on the Switch, and it still doesn't run that great. But, if you wanted A Hat in Time on the go, this was your only choice. And then the Steam Deck came out. The Steam Deck took away pretty much the only reason to get A Hat in Time on Switch, and presumably runs better too. So the only 2 reasons to get A Hat in Time on Switch is if you're a collector, or if you don't have a Steam Deck but you do have a Switch. The most recent major update was the release of Vanessa's Curse, which ironically provided another reason to not get the Switch or any other console version of the game, as Vanessa's Curse and presumably any other creator DLC content that is in the works is unavailable on the platforms, along with online play. If you want to hear me talk more about Vanessa's Curse or the gameplay and story in general, watch the companion video to this one, where I do exactly that. A Hat in Time still gets updates, but it's mostly bug fixes and small seasonal events. Gears for Breakfast, the developers of the game, have announced that they are willing to work on A Hat in Time 2, but are currently focusing on making a game that has nothing to do with A Hat in Time. We have no idea what this is or when either will release, but at least it's something. Hopefully soon, we'll get some more creator DLC content to hold us over. For now, let's talk about the community. It's hard to talk about the community without also talking about mods, but mods will get their turn, don't you worry. For now, I present to you the Hat in Time community. Okay, that's kind of unfair. A Hat in Time does have a community, and some figureheads, but most communities have some sort of online presence outside the Steam page. Other than the official Hat in Time Discord, there isn't much. Big YouTubers such as Arlo and To The Completionist, as well as major game review publications, did review the game, but everyone watched the videos, maybe played the game for a bit, and moved on. Very few have actually stuck around. The most prominent YouTuber that has made plenty of videos about a Hat in Time is Fairboat. But the last time he made a Hat in Time video was 3 years ago by the time this video comes out. So that leaves a Hat in Time with basically no YouTubers. Unless you count me, but I only did 4 of Vanessa's Curse videos a while ago, only 2 of which were discussion videos like this one, and now these 2 videos, but I've made lots of other mostly garbage content, so I don't think I really count either. That doesn't mean a Hat in Time has no internet presence though. There are one-off videos on channels focused on other things, like this one or the ones I mentioned previously. And, of course, the usual internet things like memes and song remixes and all that good stuff. While we're talking about music, there are 2 musicals, sort of, for a Hat in Time. First is the one by Random Encounters, which isn't actually a musical, but just one song. It is a good song and makes use of Hat Kid's hats, and does cover a bit of the story, but too many characters are missing. No Snatcher, Conductor, DJ Grooves, and many others. There's only Hat Kid, Mustache Girl, and a single Mafia who doesn't even have a line in the actual song. It's fine and inoffensive, and even has some nice references hidden in it, but I can't simply enjoy it nearly as much with all the missing characters. The other one is an actual musical. Still just sort of. You still have to connect the dots based on the game, but it generally does a better job on everything over the Random Encounters song. There was one thing that the Random Encounters song had over these for a while, and that was an albeit slight, better covering of the story. But about 4 months ago, by this time this video releases, they picked up the slack almost 5 years after the initial creation and made lyrics for the final boss. Every voice actor that played a character except for Brooding Lace, who played the Empress as the Empress isn't in the ending of the game, and Kyle Wright, who played DJ Goose because Goose just wasn't doing a line for some reason, was here for this grand return. Let me back up a bit. This is the Man on the Internet series of the Hat in Time songs with lyrics. The first was Your Contract Has Expired. Then there was a package where they do multiple songs per single game, adding Mafia Town, The Battle for Ward 42, Tranquility, and Rush Hour. I find Mafia Town kinda strange, since all the other songs are of the boss of the area, except for Peace and Tranquility, but the contracts from Seal the Deal don't really have a final boss, so it makes sense, but not Mafia Town for some reason. It was also one of the 2 songs that had Hat Kid actually singing in it, the other being Rush Hour. Kind of a strange selection. All the songs are good though, so I'm not complaining too much. A couple years later, they did an indie games package, and they happened to do a song for Hat in Time, Oh It's You. At this point, it felt like there was an obsession over Snatcher or something, because he got 2 songs and a bit in the video combining the Hat in Time songs they made. This doesn't really matter, I just thought it was something worth mentioning. Another 2 years later, finally, You Are All Bad Guys came out. It reuses lyrics from some of the previous songs, and since nearly 5 years since the originals, except of course Oh It's You. And because of this length between the releases, it's just plain epic. If you watch it without a long time difference, it probably wouldn't mean much to you. But to me, it's powerful. The series still feels incomplete since there are no songs for Alpine Skyline or the Arctic Cruise, but it's still a great series of songs. For some reason, their Hat in Time music playlist was never updated, so I created my own playlist with all the songs if you want to listen to them, linked in the description. They are still the original videos, so you'd be supporting the actual channel still. And that's it for the community. If we aren't talking about mods, I could talk about mods for a long time if I went into detail, but I'll keep it brief. Mods I recommend will be on screen while I'm talking. Mods have almost single-handedly kept the Hat in Time alive for years. There are all sorts of types of mods, with the best mods being ones that include multiple types, such as a level that rewards you for beating it with a hat, or a die, or a sticker, or something similar. Of course, mods that focus on a single thing aren't bad either, especially if you don't feel like playing a level and just want some cool costumes. Another one of the best types of mods is feature mods. It could be something as simple as enabling cheats by default so you don't have to type it out every time, to whole new hats or mechanics that might break the game, or somewhere in between, such as more camera filters or bigger hat and sticker wheels. It's hard to talk about mods without going into detail about each one, so I'll just end off by saying this. It doesn't matter what type of a gamer you are. A Hat Time Mods has something for you. Hey, thanks for watching, and Merry Christmas! That is, if you're watching this unreleased date. If you are, and you have a Hat in Time on PC, I recommend playing this mod called Snow City. It isn't a very big mod, but has those nice, chill winter vibes. I play it at least once every winter. It's just that thematic. It also has the song I used for the intro for this video. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, bye bye.